What's up? Welcome back to this segment of Thirsty Thursday here on the Baggers and Brews channel. And today we're taking Burt out of his comfort zone and we're trying a little bit of Southern Tier Blonde Ale.
Called 8 days a week. Blonde Ale. Now I've had this before, have you?
No.
So this is a beer that comes in one of Southern Tier's 15 packs.
Like a variety pack?
A variety pack where they'll have 5 different beers, like three of each. So I've had this. You have not.
No.
And out of the variety pack, my least favorite.
Well, I would expect it would be.
Because the others are IPAs.
So you're an IPA drinker, and a blonde ale is not an IPA. Otherwise, they would probably call it an IPA.
Correct.
But a blonde ale is a lighter version of a pale ale. Okay. So it is typically blonde ales have been brewed probably early 1800s, maybe even before that. And this was their summer beer, or their sparkling beer, or their light, crisp beer. This was their version of the 1800s European, as we would call the lawnmower beer in the U.S. that you could drink a bunch of on a hot Saturday or a hot day and really not get smacked in the face and get banged up. So it's 4.8%. Right. Southern Tier is based in Lakeside, New York.
I think I have Crystal Light that's 4.8%. Just saying.
You might have Coors Banquet beer that's 4.8%.
No, that's not in the house anywhere at all.
But Southern Tier is based in Lakeside, New York. Brewery started in 2002, so a little like around 18 years old. So they're not, they're obviously not newcomers to the craft beer stage. They have tap rooms in North Carolina. They have tap rooms in Pittsburgh. They have tap rooms in Cincinnati. If you go on their website, you can put in your address, and they will tell you where you can find their beer.
And we did do a dry run on that, and it is available for outside of New Jersey.
Yeah. I mean, for a majority of, into the eastern part of the Midwest, through most of the South and the Northeast, you can buy Southern Tier beer. So I know, as I haven't had this blonde, Southern Tier was one of the first breweries that made a pumpkin ale.
I knew you were going to say that.
The Pumpkin, I think, is what it was called.
Yep.
And they were one of the first beers that I remember, bringing, the pumpkin ale, from the craft scene. And Southern Tier is also a brewery that really were pioneers of the dessert stouts. Mm. So it's not my beer, but it is, something that they were have been on the cutting edge of. So, strong brewery, been around for a long time, and let's crack this open. So what should you do before you open up a can of beer? And I might not be able to see this on camera here. So craft beer, typically you see people roll the beer.
I already did that.
Did you roll the beer already? And
stop playing games.
That gets everything nice and mixed up.
There's people right now saying you're a moron. There's no need to roll your beer.
No, I rolled.
So why do you roll your beer?
I rolled my beer.
Why'd you do that? What does that do?
To reincorporate everything that had settled into the beer.
So there you have it. Wow. Look at the color on that.
I would call that straw.
Who slipped Coors Light into this can?
Nice light beer. Very carbonated. You can see the bubbles.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That is the light from the ring behind the camera is like coming all the way through. See it?
Through the beer.
Through the beer. I mean, maybe it would have did it on one of the darker ones, but that's pretty. It's very light. Super stoked. Super stoked.
Again, 4.8%.
Ooh, it smells
good. Almost smells a little florally, right? Like
yes.
I can't say like it's like lavender or a special type of flower, but it does smell florally. It's got like quite the bouquet when you smell it.
Yeah, it does.
And Southern Tier keeps things very close to the vest. A lot of breweries you go on to, they'll say, well, we have this beer and we put this hop and we used this type of wheat and we did this type of yeast in our beer. And when you go to Southern Tier, you know, it just says hop blend. So I have no idea what hops are in here.
No, you didn't check?
I did check, but there was no.
Didn't list it.
There's no listed. So that's
it's a big secret squirrel mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well here we go.
It is bubbly.
Bubbly?
It's very like effervescent. It's,
Effervescent.
yeah, is that not a beer term? I don't know.
Is that a band? No, that was Evanescence.
It's almost like a champagne. It's carbonated.
It's not bad flavor though.
No,
It's good flavor.
super light.
Very light.
Super light.
I'd venture to guess that I could sit here and watch this game that's on right now and kick about 15 of these and not even realize
and
I
not
drank
need
any beer.
and not need to eat.
Not need to eat. Not need any water. That is very light. That's like
It is light, and that's why the blonde or the Belgian blonde as they would call it. This was their hot day beer.
blonde ale. I mean, I could see why the average beer drinker like
Might be like,
no, I mean like not like the people that aren't into the stuff that I'm into, the heavy IPAs, the big
Imperials.
the big bold IPAs that I drink, or even just not even IPAs, stouts, whatever, anything like the big heavy beer. Like this is more of a refreshing,
Yeah.
Which is why I can understand why you said
Yeah.
lawnmower beer, or whatever you called it. Like, I could just
Crush.
roll through these, cutting my
Crush these.
grass this summer, and not even realize I drank anything.
This would be the type of beer he would have a can on each side of the hat with the straw. This
I never had one of those, but drinking beer through a straw just disgusts me.
this would be that beer. And I'm happy to see like the craft beer culture is putting out these type of beers, because I feel like in the 90s when in New Jersey, it was kind of the 90s when craft breweries really started. We used to call them micro brews.
Yeah.
Started popping up. The beers that they were making were really, I would call, not approachable for everyone. If you like that strong bitter beer or that, off the wall beer that you really couldn't get locally, then, that was for you. But if, you were taking somebody who didn't like IPAs or somebody who didn't like that type of beer to a brewery, there really wasn't much of an option for them. And now we're going to the brewery, and I have, my wife is not Stacy's not an IPA drinker. She's not a stout drinker. So
Mine is.
Unbelievable, yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very
and
unbelievably.
recently, like the past 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
I feel like. But definitely not Stacy. And the first thing, we look for, or that she'll look for at a craft brewery would be like a blonde or wit beer. But this is,
Yeah, she likes the wit beer.
yeah. But a blonde would be,
With a Hefeweizen.
the Hefeweizen. Mm-hmm.
Hefeweizen. We have a funny little friend that doesn't say that very well. He's not with us today.
I like it when he says it though. It's pretty good.
Hefeweizen. It's this weird mixture of German and Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. Yeah. So, but I mean, listen, super light. You can drink this with anything. This isn't, this is the IBUs on this, I would say like probably even like low 20s even. I mean, super light beer. I like it.
This would
I
be
like
like, if you want to crush a bunch of beers and not be like, Bud Light, Miller Lite,
Yeah.
like a beer with some flavor, because this definitely has flavor, but light and refreshing, and you want to get away from that garbage beer, this would be a good beer to go to.
More importantly, if you're out to dinner and you're afraid to have a couple of beers and drive home, this would be a beer where like the average sized dude could have 2 or 3 of
Just
these.
serve a glass of water.
Yeah, could have 2 or 3 of these and drive home. Yeah, it's pretty light. I probably wouldn't feel bad about drinking a couple of these. This is super light.
Well, 4.8. That's like.
That's Coors.
Is that less than a Yingling?
I think it is. Yeah. I feel like it's less than a typical lager.
But it does have good flavor. I mean, I can't describe the flavor. It's so light and
And Southern Tier doesn't hide what it is. I mean, right on the front of the can, when you look at the front of this can, it says infinitely drinkable.
It does say that.
And so, you can't.
8 days a week, this is called.
8 days a week.
8 days a week, Southern Tier. Which I will say, they have quite a few good beers. In that 15 pack I'm talking about,
Yeah.
there's some very good beers.
They haven't.
This is not my favorite of the bunch, but it's a good beer, and I think everyone in their 15 pack is a good beer.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do some more of those.
I mean, they have embraced the haze. They make a hazy IPA. They make a double IPA.
Yes, they do.
They make a number of different ales. Like
They
I
make
said,
a New England IPA.
Yep. They make a bunch of stouts and excellent seasonals. I think Pumpkin is one of the one of the better pumpkin beers.
It's been a while since I had that.
I
I remember that was a really strong beer.
Yeah, well, that type of beer can. Pumpkin beers can get very sneakily strong.
Sneakily.
It's
not even a word.
Not okay. Well, it might be now. You never
Sneakily.
know. We'll put it in Urban
They got some
Dictionary.
sneaky strength.
They do because they have that spice that can hide that alcohol, and
It does.
they can really sneak up
That
on
spice that I don't like.
So listen, Southern Tier, 8 days a week, blonde ale, great brewery, solid brewery, been around for a long time, can't go wrong, good product. Thoughts? No, you good?
Yeah, it is what it is to me. It's a good beer. It's not my beer. I'm not crack. These you can take home with you. But for people out there that don't like the killer strong beers and you don't want a 7%, and you want to be able to drink some beers and still function,
Right.
it's
They
got
don't-
flavor.
They don't want hoppy. They don't want.
Don't
bitter.
want hoppy. You don't want bitter.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely neither of those.
No.
It's definitely better than any domestic I've had.
100%.
Well,
it is
it's not even,
theoretically it is a domestic.
well,
right?
you know what I mean by
but-
domestic.
But it's better than any big
Bud,
box.
Miller,
Bud,
Coors.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to be a big box. It's better than any of those. It just depends on what you like. But
Yeah.
I do not give it a thumbs down.
No,
At all.
I mean, I love beer. To find a bad beer to me, it's.
Oh, I can find you some bad beer.
Could you find me some bad beers? Maybe we should find a bad beer. It's,
Maybe we should try some of the beers that you like and stop doing these other kind of beers because
I
I'm
like
curious
blondes.
to do. You do like blondes, but I'm curious. Maybe the next segment we'll do something that's in your wheelhouse since we've now done.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, we'll do that. Let us know what you'd like us to try. Again, keep in mind we're trying to do things that are nationwide, or at least you can get
Mostly
most of the
available.
nation, mostly
Yeah.
available to everyone. We could sit here and do reviews of beers that we get locally, and we could do that every week, and we could do that for the next 2 years and never run out of beers to try. But it's pointless because you guys can't get them. So we're trying to give you stuff that you can go out and find at your liquor store, or your beer store, or wherever you go. So give us some ideas. Let us know what you think of the beer review. Like it, dislike it. We suck. We're great. Whatever. Any feedback's welcome. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video, share it. Help us out. That every little bit of that helps us out to make future videos. So we really appreciate that.
And if you've had Southern Tier, or if you have a favorite brew from Southern Tier, let us know in the comments down below what that is.
Yeah,
And,
try that.
Stay thirsty.
Stay thirsty, my friend. That's from that little Spanish guy, isn't it? Football time!
Had a hit.